Om. Om. ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतश्च अर्थेष्वभिघ्नस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदायादिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि धर्मप्रोञ्जितकै sorry नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् ततो जयमुदीरयेत् Yes. So we are in the last lap of Prahlad Stuti. Maybe I thought we'd first see the last 5 verses Arti and then we will chant the entire Stuti. Okay. We'll just share. You start the. Yes, you're able to see the screen. Yeah. We were in the 45th verse. So we've been seeing Prahlad's Stuti for quite some weeks, I think, for the past maybe 1.5 months or even more, I don't know. So, where Prahlad, that 5-year-old little child, looks at Narsimha who has taken that form, which Bhagavatam says as Namrigam Namanusham, right? Neither an animal nor a human being. Something very different. We call him Narsimha now, but then at that time, there was no name for that, right? It was something extreme, which outwitted all the conditions that were given by Hiranyakashipu. And to make the words of Bhagavatas true, no, Bhagavan comes in any form. So that is the speciality of Narsimha Avatara. Bhagavatam, they say it is about Bhagavan, it is about Bhagavatas, the Bhaktas, and Bhakti. So Bhagavatam is that ripe mango fruit which just relishes all these three in every verse, one after the other. So we've been relishing that, this Prahlad Stuti, right from the beginning, where Prahlada starts with first saying, how am I qualified to, glorify you? In what way can I actually do stuti on you? But then he says, you are a Kripanavatsala, you don't look at any qualification. For you, all are your children, there is no difference at all. So you are just there like the sun. And in your presence, it is indeed the qualification of the individual soul that kind of, decides how much of grace is available for us. It is, if we are available more or less, is dependent on how clear is our chitta. We have talked about this chitta shuddhi, right? So the more and more and more we live in the realm of our individuality, our ahankara, then, the grace is very less. Just maybe for sustaining. But the more and more chitta shuddhi happens, then the presence of Bhagavan is just felt. So Prahalada has beautifully taken us through all steps of spiritual practice also, and glorifying Narsimha and glorifying. He very beautifully, this stuti, as we read, it turns our attention from this individual ego, from this world, little, that's why it's called Kripana, no? Very miserly way of living. Okay, this ego and whatever this is connected to, it ends there, right? This is how we live. So this stuti very beautifully moves our attention from this to that within, which is ever present, which is there always, and which is only there. Janmadhyasya yaton vayadi taratasya. That is what Bhagavatam starts with. So it turns to that truth. So truly, we've been doing that Satyam Param Dhimahi for the past few weeks. That Satyam, which is just there, which is more. Param here can be like, all pervasive, we can say, or everything. So Satyam Param, and we've been meditating, contemplating on that Satyam, by the grace of Prahlada. So we've reached, and he's been conversing with Narsimha, taking our case there, saying, how we all are caught in this. Samsara is nothing but me, mine, my likes, my dislikes, right? All that stem from that. We avidya, kama, karma, all these different things is called samsara. So when we all are caught in that, and Prahlada is saying, you only, by just give me that dasya yogam, he says, to such jiva, give them that devotion, so that the attention turns to you, so that attention turns to the truth, and the attention is not in something which is so transient. Yeah. So this is what he has been asking for. And now he talks about the 45th was where we actually paused last week. So he says, for all the pleasures are tucham, just like a temporary relief. Okay. For an itch by scratching. Only a dhira learns from such itching and endures. Right? Endurance is something. Vishaheta dhiraha, he says. So it is how the attention is turned is to say that we are constantly running after something for what the mind runs only for this pleasure. So wherever mind finds ashraya, okay, wherever the mind finds shelter or ashraya, wherever the mind finds joy, and one more, then love, of course, beauty also, then mind stops there. That is that mind stops, meaning there is no chanchalatva, the thoughts stop. Okay, so the ignorant ones, what we do, we as ignorant ones, we look outside for the ashraya, for beauty, for joy, and that momentary mind cessation brings in pleasure. So we think that is giving pleasure. So that is where this extroverted mind, when it turns inwards, what happens? We realize that there is a great treasure within. That is the source of all this. And it has got nothing to do with any attainment, any achievement, anything else. So that is what is brought out here. So everything else become the one who has realized that everything is within, and it is us indeed, our own nature, and it has got nothing to do with outside. So those who have realized, for them, all these, whatever is achieved, whatever is attained, whatever is, all those, they don't matter at all. Mhm. And even what life throws as challenges, okay, they do not disturb them. What do? They just endure it. That is what is. So he is a dhira, because the attention is constantly in the self, in truth, in Satyam, in Bhagavan. This is where we had stopped. Anything, Aarti, you want to?
No, I think we'll move on to the next one.
Yeah. So I just copy pasted the translation. We will see. This is 46th verse.
So this whole Prahalada, this part of the 7th canto is said to be the heart of the, in one way that it is described as, the Bhagavatam is described as the 12 chapters of, or the 12 skandhas of the Bhagavatam is said to be like the different parts of the Supreme. In that, the 7th canto is said to be the heart, because for Krishna, his devotees are his heart. And Prahalada is the highest devotee in that sense. And hence, this is supposed to be the heart of the whole Bhagavatam. If the Bhagavatam itself is Krishna, and the 7th canto is his heart. So beautifully, we have been reveling in the words of Prahalada and learning from him how to praise the Lord, how to be established in him, all the truth, everything, how he speaks to him. He's a little boy of 5 years. We'll continue.
Yes. Mauna Vrata Shruta Tapo Tapodhyayana Swadharma Vyakyaraho Japa Samadhaya Apavargyaha Prayah Param Purushate Tvajitendriyanam Varta Bhavan Yutanavatra Dambhikanam. Dambham means proud, right? Proud, we don't even have to go to the pride, arrogance, that level and all. The one who is self-centered, ego-centered, right? So all these things, Mauna Brata, Tapa, right? And Tapa, Dhyana, and being established in Swadharma. What is the other one? Vyakyara. What is there here? Okay, lot of austerity, study Vedas, other Vedic literature, execute the Varnashrama Dharma, explain Shastras, staying in a solitary place, chanting mantras, absorbed in self. 10 methods are given here. It is a good thing for us to actually see these and take up it for our spiritual sadhana. Any of these, even if we stick to one with complete dedication, it is wonderful. In fact, Prahalada gives so many such, So these are the prescribed methods on the path of liberation. Whatever suits are initially to take up these things and be consistent. But here what Prahalada is saying is, these are actually for liberation. It has got nothing to do with so Prabhupada ji has put it as a professional practice and means of livelihood for those who have conquered those who have not conquered their senses. So Jitendriya has not happened. Yes, we still think that there is something to be achieved or attained from outside. Okay, so that is why what happens, everything, even the spiritual practices become extroverted. That's why we see so many, there are institutes and so many things that have opened up, bringing in all the spiritual practices, right? In a way that for the introversion to happen, it cannot happen this way. That is what Prahlada means to say here, right? Who have not. So again, the intention with which such things are done is because, again, there is something we think, maybe, I don't know, name or fame, anything it could be, or trying to establish, learn more. Everything is outward. So for them, it is not going to give the purpose of liberation, right? It may have some other purpose. So that is why it is called as dambham. It will again add on to this individual self will grow, right? That we don't, the ultimate, Ramana Bhagavan says, the, mukti, when the last Ulladanarpada verse, it comes saying, there are three kinds of mukti, they say, right? Sayujya, something, Sarupya, some three things Bhagavan says. Is it with form or without form or beyond form? Okay. He says, all these are not. The one that is discussing about these, that ahantai, அது uru அழிதல் mukti. Ahantai uru அழிதல் mukti. The individual self that is there, no, that is only discussing, no, that's the base. I say, okay, is this mukti? That is mukti. I want to know what is this, right? So that when that I subsides in the source, that is true mukti. That is liberation. But even when these practices become outward, then what happens? This I here is that individual self, the individual ego. So that only grows. When it grows fatter and fatter and fatter, it gets very difficult, right? It is in fact said in the morning, it's a beautiful practice for all, for us to do it. Morning when we wake up, we see the first, just like in Bhagavatam it comes, right? From the lotus stem Brahma comes. So like that, from the in some Vedic Suktam it is there, it seems, which says, from the Hridaya Shushira, a very small hole. These all are not literally there. Okay, it's not the hole in this heart or anything. Okay, heart is the place where Bhagavan is realized. It is not, so that is here and now. It has got nothing to do with this pumping heart. Hridaya is not this heart, physical heart. Hridaya Shushira. So everything is just dormant. And when we wake up, there is a small little, the I sense comes out first. Then it spreads as, where am I? I am here in Bangalore. I am this name, by name Bala. This body is lying here. Now this is the day, all these, then the work comes, then what all we need to do, everything, the mind just spreads out. It spreads out, much bigger than this physical body, and it is there. So it comes from Hridaya Shushira, they say. So for it to go back to Hridayam, which is Bhagavan. Like beautifully, this canto is Hridayam of Bhagavatam. So by reading and contemplating on this, what happens? This individual ego must become thin. Only then it can again go back to that Hridaya Sthana. Yes, that self, where this that it is, there is complete silence or whatever, peace, joy, Satchit Ananda. So this even these practices, these are practices which are there for the individual self to turn within. Yeah, so that is what is brought out in this.
So, so just to put this a little in context, there are certain Gitas like the Ashtavakra Gita and all, which people who are, great sages will say, don't go to it right away, because it will say in Ashtavakra Gita and all, these are very higher level texts. Okay, and they say the same thing. There's no point in doing austerities or the Vedas or the study of the Vedas or doing any of the duties of the Varnashrama Dharma or remaining silent or doing chants. It is beyond all of that, is what they say. So, and when we read that, we may immediately stop it. So for a mind that is yet not prepared, all of these are needed. That is the chitta shuddhi. For a mind that is yet not prepared, all of these are needed, so that that very high turmoil in the mind, the lot of oscillations of the mind can be reasonably brought under control. But even though one is trying to master the mind as much as possible, they will, after a point in time, realize that little oscillation is always there. And at that point in time, no matter how much we chant, no matter how much, the silence you practice, whatever, it doesn't seem to go away completely. It has come to there is a certain amount of mastery, but it is not completely gone. So at that point, at that level is where, in whatever Prahalada is saying here also, that because just taking control over the mind is not enough, it has to rest in the self. The ego has to, because after a while, all the oscillations of the mind is because of that I-ness, that sense of aham karta ahankara, kartrutva bhava. Could be that kartrutva, where that very subtle I comes up. It may not be, like Bala said, it is not the very, very egoistic I. It is just that sense, that even that little sense of doership. That I am the doer, I must do this, I have to do this, this is happening, why is this not happening, I'm doing so much. That little sense of when I even say, oh God, I am doing so much, but you are not showing to me. That little I-ness also which comes up is a part of the ego, that individual sense, that individuality, and that has to drop. Because there is that sense of, what is that false pride? It is nothing but that small sense of doership that I am doing. When in reality, nothing is my doing. Everything is only happening. And hence that I-ness, when it completely subsides, like what, it just bends down. When the question mark bends down to touch the feet of the exclamation is the self. And then when that bending down of that ego completely happens, then there's nothing, there's no I, there's only Bhagavan, the higher self there.
Yeah. How beautiful, no? That exclamation. He's a wonder. And we are unable to see the wonder if the question mark is high up there. Always questioning, who are you? Are a bend to see that wonder. It is fantastic. No, it is. Because the doership we are talking about, because that's all it is, when the kartrutva bhava is not there, through jnana, when someone realizes it, right? For that, a beautiful story is there, right? I don't know if it is in Bhagavatam or Mahabharata. So the Gopikas are, coming near the bank of Yamuna, and they want to cross the Yamuna river. And in the opposite side, Krishna is playing the flute. Okay, so they want to go meet Krishna. They had taken with them a lot of sweets and all that, and they want to cross Yamuna river. And the Yamuna river is fiercely flowing. It is so fierce that they are, they are not able, they are thinking how to cross. And Vedavyasa was sitting there and doing something. So they go to Vedavyasa Maharishi and ask him, please help us. We want to go and meet Krishna. He's there, how do we cross Yamuna river? Vedavyasa says, first, please feed me. I'm very hungry. So they all give him food. After he is fully, he eats to his stomach content. And once he is full, he gets up and then he says to Yamuna river, if I have not eaten anything, if that is true, then give them the way. Okay. And Yamuna river immediately gives the way, and these Gopikas cross. At that time, they were surprised, but they want to go meet Krishna. They just go. They don't bother about it. Okay, they go there. And then all ras, everything happens. They feed Krishna also. They dance and what enjoy complete Rasa Leela. Krishna and Gopika, they all do. And then while they were coming back again, Yamuna is completely, in it's flooding, whatever you call it, high tides. So at that they wanted to cross, and then they ask Krishna, Krishna, see, Yamuna is like this, we can't cross. Krishna looks at Yamuna river and says, if I am a Nitya Brahmachari, give them the way. Then Gopika, Yamuna gives the way. Now they look at Krishna and the Gopikas, they ask him, what is this? There, Maharishi, Vedavyasa Rishi ate everything and he bluffed something. Isn't that a bluff? And you just now, had a good Rasa Leela with all of us, and now you are saying something. Is it not a bluff? And both of you are just bluffing something. And this Yamuna is, then Krishna smiles and says, yes, he had it. Therefore, it like what she said, it's happening. For the body sustenance, it is there. Vedavyasa is not identified with that body. Right? For that, for jnanis, they say beautifully, Nachur Swami says, for a jnani, their own body is like a tree that you see outside. When you see the tree outside, it's the same. For a jnani, the tree and his own body is the same. That is the kind of realm they are in. Okay. So I don't know if we should call it a realm also. I don't know. So whatever, they are in that jnani. They are jnanis. Okay. The one who are one with that. So for Krishna also, whatever was needed for that body to do was done. But he did not have that doership at all. There is no he only, there is no individuality at all. Yes. So that's why it is called Granthi in Bhagavatam. Actually, there is nothing called I. It is just some complicated thought which we have put in the mind. If we look at it, there's nothing like Bala. Where is this search for it? We will not find Bala. There is something happening in nature. There is some power within. Who is this intermediary thing constantly coming up, telling Bala, Bala, Bala and creating all suffering? So, this is the thing. The doership comes when this hood rises its hood. So, yes, I thought this is a good story for us to. So, this was told for Gopikas to know the that there is nothing like separate doership at all. It is just apparent.
Another story that is coming to my mind is about the
Can
Gopika
I-
only, Uddhava, who was he was the only one from the Yadu clan who ended up surviving even after Lord Krishna. There was something called the Uddhava Gita, which was told by Krishna to Uddhava goes around telling, he was instructed by Krishna to go to Vrindavan and meet the Gopikas and to speak to the Uddhava Gita. He was supposed to go there and tell. But when he goes there and he meets the Gopikas are constantly there only talking about Krishna. Anything happens, they are only talking about Krishna. Oh, Krishna, Krishna used to do this. Krishna, he's here, as though he's still with them. I have to go and feed Krishna right now. You have come here, but you want to talk to us about these things. But I have, I have to go and feed Krishna. They were every moment only with Krishna. So at that time, Uddhava realizes that even that Uddhava Gita or any of the scriptures have no meaning because they were never separate from Krishna to even need something like this. Only for somebody who was separated from Krishna do they need these scriptures. They were with him at all point in time. So none of the scriptures, none of the chanting, none of this mattered because only that love for Krishna was only there, and that is all that mattered.
In that Krishna Karnamritam, there is one beautiful verse which says, Uddhava, he goes and sees one Gopika, it seems she's doing some she's keeping her hand like this and closing her eyes, and she's meditating with full. So Uddhava, he comes and asks, what are you meditating on? She says, I have to take Krishna out of my mind. I'm not able to do work. That is the thing with ahaituki bhakti, they say, for no reason, that pure love is just there. It is because absolute no individuality, no ego. The chitta is pure and divine is just reflecting. That's it, with absolute no mala.
Annapurna ji wants to share something.
Yeah, sorry, I was away and then I joined after a long time.
Nice to see you, Annapurna.
Yeah, see, I've been reading and listening to the recording and everything. See, one thing which often comes to my mind is that, see, for any work to do any work, you have to take its ownership, isn't it? Unless you take the ownership, you're not motivated to continue with that work or do with utmost sincerity and other things. And then this whole thing about doership, that, so how do we understand that particular thing as a common man, I mean,
So,
layman?
Patanjali Yoga Sutra has a very nice distinction here. It uses two words called, one is asmita and the other is ahankara.
Mm.
So now asmita is like, if say, first of all, if say I have a child, the child makes me a mother. So now that role that I have of a mother is my asmita. Okay. Now, because of that role, I have a sense of I need to feed this child, I need to take care of this child, I need to provide food to the, food and clothing and, bathe the child and do whatever. When it cries, I should go and attend to it. That is asmita. That is naturally a thin bond that is there, that is created. But now in this, so when that is happening, it is a sense of, okay, just going through the motions of, oh, the child is crying, it has to be attended to. I am here, not even I am here. The child has to be attended to. Give whatever is needed. The child has to be given a bath. Do whatever is to be done, that is done. But here, the moment I started, you will also be noting many times, in our day-to-day also, when the moment I get up and some people, what is it? Oh, I have to give bath to my child and I have to pack their lunch box and I have to send them to this and I have to send them to school. Then I have to cook the food. I have to clean the house. I have to do this. The moment people talk of all of this, there is a major drain in energy. Very practically, we will see this. The moment one starts thinking about all the things they have to do or they have done through the day, it saps one of all the energy, because at that point in time, I am taking up all the ownership for all the work that is being done. And I'm thinking through all that, that itself pulls me down. It is a form of drain of energy. Whereas asmita is where it is happening through me. It is happening, not even that through me. It is just happening. That child is there. And so similarly, if there is another role of a wife, then whatever it is happening based on the need at that point in time, whatever it is happening. So I am not claiming or thinking I am doing so much, I have done this, that I is not there. Just go through the motions and do things. You may have seen this when the child is very small, the mother literally does not think of I at that point in time itself. It's just that, okay, next motion, this is happening, next this has to be done, next this is done, next this is done, and it just going through the motion without, and then by end of the day, you realize, oh, so tired, need to go to sleep, over. Okay, so that sense of identification with the role, you can say, that there is a sense of identification that naturally comes with the role. Now, if I have taken up a job, I must do that. It's a sense of saying, I am a part of nature. There is an identification. I am a human being itself is an identification. That itself is an asmita. To identify as a human being itself is an asmita. And because there is that sense of, I don't think too much. I'm not thinking, oh, I am a human being, so I should do this. I am a human being. It is just a very natural sense of asmita that is there, because of which we act in a certain way, naturally. It is because that sense of identification of, as a human being is there, I'm walking on two legs. I eat with my mouth, I speak, I have a certain conversation, I learn a particular language. All this is happening, and that is asmita. The moment I bring in the doership and say, I can speak many languages, I have brought ahankara in. I am the doer of certain things, then I have brought ahankara in. So as a natural identification, there is asmita, where everything is just happening as it is supposed to happen. Like I said, no, the crawling, this thing, as a part of the human identification only. But initially we turn over, we move on our tummies, and then we start crawling, then we start standing, then we start running. All of this is happening, right? I don't do it. It is a part of that identification. So similarly, whenever there is something, there is absolute ownership in whatever is there, whatever is being done, but it is being done. It is happening. I am not doing it. I am not the doer of that action. So I don't say I am not the doer. When I say I am not the doer, there is an ahankara coming in. There is just what is needed is done. That's it. Whatever is needed is happening. That's it. I don't know if this is making sense. Any other examples you're able to give, Bharat?
Yeah. No, more than examples, just would like to add on to what you were
No, I just
talking
had
about.
one thing. Okay.
Go ahead.
You tend to, yeah, you tend to think, supposing you're doing a particular chore of, say, taking care of the kid in a certain way, not only in certain way, taking care of the kid. But in your absence, all that routine is completely topsy-turvy. So, do you say that, I mean, you were able to do that, or you take the ownership for that, or how is it?
So you're saying when I am there, everything is happening properly. When I'm not there, things are going topsy-turvy, and nobody is, and nothing is happening as it is supposed to happen. So I take the
ownership.
Like to just address all these, Annapurna ji, about doership. See, in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna has talked, right? Karma Yoga. We can take it step by step, actually. See, if we look at it, yes, there is a dharma. What the body has to do is the dharma. Without that, the body will not drop. This is what Krishna says right in the beginning. Right? So, this body has taken this, first of all, because it has to perform certain things. That is the dharma of the body. So, the actions will happen. And initially what happens is we identify with the actions. Okay, I have scored, being a student also, maybe, I score very well, or I am a good mother, whatever identifications we have, right? We do identify with it. So that is what Krishna says is to, and because of those identifications, we see how we are bound. Okay, only when we see we are bound, we will want to get out of it. So say, for example, the same example that you told now, say for a mother, for a very small child, the mother has to take care of the baby, isn't it? That is the dharma of that. In that time period, that body, dharma, the motherhood has entered. That is why everything also we can divinize, it is the motherhood that enters at that time. That same motherhood is not there once the child grows, right? So that time, the dharma is to take care, and it is done. So the problem when that ignorance, or when it comes with identity, is saying that when it creeps into our mind, like beautifully what Aarti was saying, when I start thinking about it, see, the action is done, it is over, right? Say I have to go step out somewhere else and someone has taken care, but when I come back, if things are not in place like how I would do, and if that is creating a problem, that means it is this, I sense, the doership, which is bringing that. It is, that is how we identify the doership. Oh, it is because of this doership that these thoughts are coming in the mind. It has creeped into the mind. Dharma is purely for the body. It has got nothing to do, it works with laws of nature. Come what may, nature will, Prakriti Mata will make us do it. That's all. But mind, that's why Krishna says, give mind to me. So the way, the moment I know that there is some confusion that is happening in the mind, Krishna says, turn to me. So put the mind in him and work. That is Arpana Buddhi. So this entire karma stands in 4 pillars. Okay, Swami Aparajitananda, he says, one is, yes, Kartavya Nirvahanam. We have to do. Kartavya is for the body, physical body, I mean. Okay, at this physical realm, this is the Vyavaharika, whatever, transaction world. Kartavya, the duty, whatever, it will be done. So better surrender to it. And Kartavya Nirvahanam, and there is something else which I am forgetting. Then Ishvara Arpana Buddhi. Every act we do, in the mind, know that it is, whether I agree, whether I don't agree, whether I know, whether I don't know. This is the method prescribed by Krishna, so I follow it. And we see it works after some, it works actually very beautifully. We don't even have to say after some time. When I do, just say Krishna Arpanam and do. That doership is not there at that time. Then prasada buddhi, whatever is given to us, take it as a prasad. So the arpana buddhi is very important for the doership to go, because when some decision is taken, we say Krishnarpanam and take the decision. Automatically, that I have taken the decision, thought is not taken by the intellect. Yeah, that buddhi has now is slowly thinning the doership. This is a very beautiful method that is being given by, and this does not reduce our attachment. Actually, we think it is because we have to own only, then we work. Actually, it is not so. We will have to, for that, we have to experiment. We do so many experiments, right? We have to experiment and see. Work will be done much more beautifully when we are able to let go our mind from that and do. Arpana buddhi. Nobody says don't plan. Functionally, yes. Functionally, when it has to be done, okay, Krishna Arpana mastu, and then start. That is why we always start with the Vinayak. Whatever is being done, we start with the puja. In our dharma, it is there, right? So remember him. Every step, it is this ultimate doer who is doing it. Oh, Ma Shakti is doing it. And do everything. And it works beautifully. If we actually do it that way, it is a myth, I think, thinking that we must take ownership. No, ownership brings in a lot of hassle, and that is called granthi. That is called not. That is called Hridaya Granthi.
If I have gone out somewhere and things have, according to me, have not happened very well, I come back, I see things, I start doing things that is just performing my dharma. But now if I start saying I was not there, all of you didn't do anything, if I am not there, none of you are doing the proper, then I'm getting into that ahankara mode. If I just see that things are not, or whatever, and I just start doing things and I put things back in place and do whatever, I'm just performing my duty. It's just going ahead. It is when I start getting all the, when that, like Bala said, as long as the physical activity, you're using your body to do something and just going ahead and doing things, it is fine. It is when the mind and the eye and all that comes in, and I was away for just for 1 hour and look at the way the house has turned topsy-turvy, none of you is doing anything, all of this here, ahankara has come in. The doership has come in. Is this making sense, Annapurnaji?
Yeah. I mean, see, I just came back from US and I see the work culture over there, the way the people, the way they are doing, and the agitation that brings into their life. They are not able to kind of separate uh, and how it is consuming them is very overwhelming for me. Actually. See, we don't have time to do anything in the younger generation who are in their 30s and early 40s. I mean, it just kept me thinking that where is this leading to, So, I mean,
One is taking care of everything. We will surrender.
yeah, I mean, that is what. And this generation, that whole generation, you can't even tell them that to see. I taught the kids the Krishna Arpanamastu. They started doing that, like for everything, and it so beautifully. My grandson, who is 6 years old, he can every night without saying the prayer Vasute Vasatam Daivam, he will not sleep.
Hmm.
So I mean, I said that how this is completely not being practiced by these people, or where are they leading to?
Everybody has that trajectory, Annapurnaji.
And no,
Just that,
they're
that
not bad
itself is a
people,
little bit of a spiritual ego when we say we are all following this and that. When the time comes,
it will happen. Yeah, that's what I said, that Krishna will show you the path. That's what I said it to myself. I didn't even say it to them. But I really wish that, that he will show them the path. That is
Oh,
what it is.
definitely.
Very
See,
overwhelming. Actually, it is.
just to divinize this whole thing, Annapurna, this is what is coming up in the mind. See, what does mother do? If you see Divine Mother, a beautiful name in Lalita Sahasranama comes as, what is it? Shiva Pativrata. Okay. Sada Shiva Pativrata or Shiva
Yeah,
Pativrata?
Sadashiva Prativrata.
Sada Shiva. So she is the Pativrata, which means this Divine Mother. So the entire activities and the entire creation is all her. All the forms, all the gunas, everything is mother, right? So she always wants to be in union with Shiva, the stillness. Okay, so come what may. So we all are her only. It's all part of her. You can take it however your mind connects to it, or her children, however the mind connects to it. So constantly what she does is she is pushing every little being, right from maybe the small unicellular till whatever, towards Shiva. So we don't know how. That's why they say the life's challenges is also her. That's why she has noose, she has gourd, whatever, all those, no, her. If you see the Tripura Sundari, beautiful thing, so she is managing it, and constantly she is ensuring that everyone is towards Shiva only. So somehow it is happening. That's the beauty of we don't know. we may think only by chanting someone can.
Yeah, I mean, by the
Correct.
end of it, I was just thinking that the whole thing is incomprehensible to me.
Yes, yes, that is what it is. We cannot understand her ways. We cannot.
Yeah, and I just kept thinking that I will, whatever it is, I mean, I should just think about myself as to whether I have been able to surrender or,
Mm.
do the Sharanagati, then think about anybody else doing it.
Yes,
Yeah.
and pray, 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 pray.
That is it, right? Yeah. Thank you so much.
Oh, yeah, nice. Something similar, continuation of our. रूपे इमे सदसति तव वेद सृष्टे बीजाङ्कुरा विवनचान्यदरूपकस्य युक्ता समक्षमुभयत्र विचक्षन्ते त्वां sorry योगेन वह्निमिव दारुषु नान्यत स्यात्. How beautiful, see? Everything is you, Sat or Asat. I think it was similar, right? We were just discussing. Everything is you, be it Shiva or Shakti or call it Purusha or Prakriti, whatever, it's all the same divine. The same, just like the seed and the sprout is the same, right? It's the same. It is all in the dormant form in seed, and then the sprout, everything is just expressing itself, right? This entire thing is a divine expression. That's all. So, you are the Sat, you are also Asat here means all these expression of the divine, the forms, the names, whatever. It is all the same. This is how yogis see it. Yeah. Yukta is the word used here. Yukta. Yukta is the one who is one with truth. Right? Yukta. Just like the fire, pervasiveness of fire in the wood. It's quite self-explanatory and very beautiful. Anything, Aarti?
So every action in the world, the whole world, like what Bala earlier said, right? When you sleep, when you go to sleep, the whole world dissolves into our own consciousness. There is no world. We are all experiencing. Let us be very, very clear here. Because these sense organs, these eyes, the golakas are engaging, we feel that the world is real, and that seems to be a shared world in a way. But in reality, we are all experiencing our own world. Where are we experiencing that world? Only in our mind. We are never experiencing anything outside. The light is following, and I am seeing in the image of whatever it is in my mind. I am hearing the image of whatever sound in my mind, the sound waves. I am hearing it only in my mind. I'm not hearing it outside in reality, though it feels like that. So everything that we are perceiving is a projection of the way these sense organs, like a lens is made, it is made that way. So it is only a projection, and hence when I am asleep, the whole world, my world is what I see, what I experience, what I hear. Now when I go to sleep, that whole world is going into me, into this consciousness. And then when I wake up again, the whole world is projected from that consciousness. And hence, the world and the consciousness are not separate. Without the consciousness, there is no world. It is only because of that light of that consciousness that this world is illuminated for me. Illumined. Otherwise, there is no world. This world is also a leela or a projection of this higher reality of the greater self within. There is an automatic time when we wake up. Even if you don't keep an alarm, there will be a call to wake up. That is the need. That is the desire of the conscious desire, the consciousness wanting to project itself into the world. It is its own desire to project it. And that projection is because you can call it the Prakriti. Purusha bringing out the Prakriti. So, like the Ardhanarishwara, now if you say a seed, when you put water, it is full of potential. And then when that sprout comes out, that is Shakti, pushing out that, bringing out, you are able to actually see the manifestation of that potential. So now the potential and that sprouting out, that force which pushes is out, both are the same. They are not separate from each other. The world is not separate from the consciousness. The consciousness is not separate from the world. In every nanometer or whatever you call is pervaded by this consciousness only. Just as you may not be able to see it. The example is so beautiful. Wood, in the wood, the fire is there. That is why when you do that kindling of that wood or you rub the wood, the fire spark comes out. It is there within. The fire is very much within. So the fire is not separate from the wood. The fire, where did it come from? It came from that wood. So similarly, this whole world is a projection of the higher self and is not separate from the consciousness. You as mere existence and also as multiform asat is indeed the same. Asatoma satgamaya. Asat and sat. They are not separate from each other. The asat is a projection of the sat only. Okay. Yes, Bala.
No, it is so beautiful, no? Sat and Asat. So what is this Asat if we really look at it? It is something that the mind has created. Right? On the mind level only, I see this form and there is some name. As a child, as a baby, did we know the names? Did we know the forms? Did we know this was a tree? It is this intellect which was taught at the mind level later. And then, does the tree know that it is a tree? It is a pure existence. Yeah? It is just pure existence. So everywhere there is mere Sat, that pure, they call it, Sat, Chit, Ananda. That's why, it's pure. But the mind has projected some name and form for maybe some transaction purpose at the physical level. But the problem is, we have taken it too much deep inside and stuck to this name and form as me, and that is the ignorance. So the more and more we do the Chitta Shuddhi, the more and more all these, Satsanga and all this will, that grace opens to see that pervasiveness of the pure Sat everywhere.
Again, Ishavasyam idam sarvam. Everything is pervaded by Isha.
Beautiful. This one is something we must have this as a Tvam vayur agniravanirviyadambumatraha pranendriyani hridayam chidanugrahascha sarvam tvameva saguno vigunascha bhuman Tvadastyapi mano vachasa niruktam. You are the Vayu, Agni, Akasha, water, perception, Matraha. See this. We will see that. Prana, Indriya, Hridayam, Chitta, Anugraha, everything. All that are within the Trigunas and beyond is you. O Bhuman. So the beautiful word that is used is Bhuman. Nothing else other than you is manifested. by the mind or by the vak. So what is measuring? The mind, the speech. Here it is a mano vachasa niruktam, defining things, saying by the mind, by the vak, right? That is where we are caught. Yes, no, that everything is you. This moment, it is only him, right? It is not anything else. The mind, but the very next moment, what happens? Oh, Bhagavatam class is going on, all these thoughts come in, and but the moment it is only Bhagavan. No, everything, it is fantastic. It's a wonderful thing to just keep repeating, and that will start talking to us. The shloka, that's kind of shloka. I find the shloka very beautiful.
So to say everything is only a manifest, is your manifest. Now just even if you just look around, you remove all the furnitures in your room. What is there? There is space. And this space is what? It is infinite. It's everywhere. Okay. And the moment you bring back all the furnitures, where does the space go?
Mm-hmm.
The space is right there. And imagine now this Akasha, this space has also come only from that consciousness. That consciousness is beyond even Akash, Vayu, Agni, and Jal and everything that I'm perceiving around. So this whole world that I am seeing, what I'm seeing is only the objects in the world, but what I'm failing to see is in what is this object there. What is the yoni, the holder? What is the womb of this world? Then that substratum, you'll see that whole womb in which everything is there is only him. He is the womb, and everything that is contained in the womb is also him only. Because he is pervading everywhere. It is his own manifestation which is there in his own womb. Even that power of perception where through my sense organs I am seeing something is because of that illumining power. If that consciousness is not there, like electricity, will the fan work? If the consciousness is not there, will the eyes work? Will there be any perception if the eyes are not working? So the perception is also him. What I listen to is also him. The prana is also him. Everything, the chit, if there is some movement that is happening that I am today listening to the Bhagavatam, that anugraham is also him.
A beautiful I don't remember the mantra in Ishavasya Upanishad, it comes. The fastest, they say, is the mind, right? But wherever the mind goes, okay, before the mind reaches there, Atman is there, it seems. It is so beautifully given. Wherever the mind goes, okay. So what does this mean? In the competition between the Atman and the mind, it is the Atman which wins. Atman, Bhagavan, it's all the same. Not this individual soul. The supreme power we are talking about. The supreme Bhagavan. Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagavan iti Shabda. It's only a difference in Shabda. The Bhuman. Yeah. So that all pervasive, they said. So the mind, wherever go, it is the movement is only in Atman. Whatever we see is only Atman. Whatever we hear is only Atman. Whatever we breathe is Atman. Yes, there is nothing else. So that beautiful conversation between Yajnavalkya and Gargi comes in, I think, I don't know, maybe in Ramayana. So in Sabha of Janaka Maharaja, Yajnavalkya or Janaka Maharaja used to have such Brahma Sabha, it is called, and he would call lot of such Brahmanishthas, Yajnavalkya, Gargi and all were mighty beings, right? Are, we should say, not where, are mighty beings. So many such great, jnanis were present. And in that Satram, Gargi, she raises a question. She gets up and she asks Yajnavalkya, this bhumi, right? Where does this bhumi stand? Where is this bhumi? Yajnavalkya says the bhumi stands in water. Okay, don't take it like this Panchabhuta gross forms that we see. Okay, even in this. So here, the standing, what you do is think it as the pervasiveness, moving from the gross to subtle. Okay, it is the pervasiveness. So in earth, we can see water is pervading. Then she asks, where does this water stand? He says, water stands in Agni. So earth is just a ball, right? I mean, if you take a small little, and then water moves, water can flow. So it is more pervasive. And then fire can also go upwards. It's more pervasive. Where does the fire stand? She asks. He says, Vayu. So Vayu moves everywhere. There is movement, right? Then where does Vayu stand? So he says Akasha. So Akasha is the one which contains everything. And like the beautiful thing that Aarti told, it is containing and everything is Akasha only. Okay, it is. And then, Gargi, she asks, this is very beautiful. Huh? She asks, where does the Akasha stand? So Yajnavalkya first says, you sit, your head will burst into pieces. This is also very important. So she's sitting and then she gets up and says, no, please tell me, if you don't tell, my head will burst into pieces, you have to tell. Then he says, the Akasha is in you. See, if we all know there is something called existence in all of us, when we close our eyes, the deep sleep, right? Or even in this moment, when with our eyes closed, with absolute no perception, say there is no perception at all. Yes, even the breath can also stop for a moment. Still, there is some presence which is there. That is that Sat, that is that glimpse of Bhagavan, that is that consciousness. So, if that is not there, then where is Akasha? Where is this entire world, right? So, the base is the all pervasive, is this, consciousness. It says that is in you, meaning not this limited ego, it is that consciousness. So, the spark of consciousness can be felt within. And when that is touched, that Bhuman is there. So Prahalad is there in that Bhuman. All pervasive. That's why even snake was Bhagavan Hari for him, right? Even poison was Hari for him. Everything is Hari. So it is coming from his very beautiful this time. I think 26. Okay, we'll finish fast. Only 2 more. Okay. The last 2 are also very beautiful. So he has now declared everything is, there is only Brahman, nothing else. They say no, Advaita. What is Advaita? No, Dvaita means there is only God. It doesn't mean that there is one God. It says only God is present. Everything else is just an appearance. So that ultimate Advaita, Prahalad declares in 49th verse. Naite guna na gunino mahadadayo ye sarve manaf prabhritaya sahadeva matyaha adyantavanta urugaya vidanti hitva evam vimrishya sudhiyo viramanti shabdad. All have a beginning and an end. Guna, Trinity also, everything, take it Shiva, Maheshwara, Brahma, Vishnu, everything, right? The 5 elements, the mind, everything has a beginning and an end. Urugaya, he is calling Bhagavan like this, who are sung by saints. Those with right buddhi cease trying to understand you by reading. So by reading these Vedic scriptures and all, we cannot understand you very beautifully. I think Annapurna ji also completed that conversation. She said, okay, the realization is I cannot understand. Yes, it is beyond our understanding. Yeah. So whatever, how much ever we read, study, we cannot understand. But what is this Shuddha Buddhi that he is talking about? That comes in the next verse. We can see this together and the last one. So therefore, the Shuddha Buddhi is that Chitta Shuddhi, only through devotion. Yes, by Nama, Sthiti, Karma, Puja. Oh no, what is it? Sthiti, Karma, Puja. I don't know, something wrong. Charana, Smriti, Katha Shravana. Oh, Charana Smriti, Karma Puja, something. Okay, Katha Shravanam. So, only through devotion. Tat ter hat tama nama. No, nama. It's not nama, it is nama. Yeah, completely surrendering oneself to that tattvam. Tat ter hat tama nama. Stuti karma puja. Stuti is glorifying that tat. Karma puja, do the action, which is all the karma is done by action, by as a puja. We can take it that way also. And doing a puja also. Karma smritish charanayo. So all the karma is done like a puja, completely remembering your charana. Lord's feet means that truth. Always being in that state of truth. Yes, that is remembrance. Smritish charanayo shravanam kathayam, listening to your katha. Not by reading Vedic scriptures, one can overcome all this. That is what he told. How one cannot, see that bhuman. One cannot get into that bhuman, whatever, by just reading all these or by listening. It is only completely through devotion. Nama, stuti, karma puja, smriti, charana smriti, shravana katha. So, listening to the katha. Samsevaya. So, service. Everything as a good service. Tvai, to you. Samsevaya tvayi vineti shadangaya kim. So, with all the shad, so 6 things he has told here. Kim, then he says, bhaktim jana. If all these are then done, then why not is what is asked. Bhaktim janaf paramahamsa gatau labheta. It just happens. The bhakta, wherever he is, the one who is constantly engaged in glorifying you, who is constantly engaged in doing every action as a puja to you, who is constantly engaged in completely surrendering to you, who is constantly remembering your pada, your state, that, and who is constantly in your katha shravana, he automatically attains that paramahamsa gati. This paramahamsa gati also we can look at it, what it is sometime, maybe next week. So this is how so Prahalada gives complete marks only to devotion. This is what we can do, nothing else. The rest happens. In the doing realm, only this can be. Okay. I think next week we have to chant the Stuti, no? I think it's time up. Wonderful. Prahlad Maharaj ki jai. Let us chant, close today's class. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayah Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukkha Bhag Bhaved Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Thank you. Hari Om.
Thank you. Thank you,
Hari
everyone.
Om.
Thank you so much, Hari Om.
Thank you.
Thank you.